Mayor Jerry. For most Skyblock players, it doesn't get much better than this. A brief period of time when this funny little man can reign over Skyblock. Jerry doubles minion output, closes the auction house, doubles all mob HP, and also provides 50% extra skill XP. Perks such as closing the auction house may seem a little bit crazy at first, and maybe also seem like there can't really be much good that comes of it, but it definitely does create an interesting dynamic where players have to trade with players, and honestly opens a massive window for making coins. Today we talk about how you can make the most out of Jerry, in terms of all aspects of Skyblock. Making coins, gaining skill XP, getting skills to max levels, and so on. First of all, we talk about how to profit in terms of coins from Derpy. Initially closing the auction house seems like surely it's going to make it actually worse for making coins, but that's actually the opposite. That's if you're prepared. Like I said before, with the auction house being closed, this means that if you want to buy or sell items, you have to do the trades with other players rather than on the auction house. Of course, without the auction house, it's much harder to find a buyer or a seller for the item that you want to sell or buy. This means that lowballers will now have a field day. Lowballers will be able to buy items for much cheaper than they could be before. Number one, there's no auction house, so there's not really any prices to go off. And also, it's going to be much harder for the seller to actually find a buyer, so they can kind of dictate the price. Lowballers are definitely going to make so many coins if they know what they're doing. But the same goes the other way. When this video goes live, I assume there's going to be probably around about 10 to 12 hours before Derpy's actually elected. Which means that you'll definitely have plenty of time to stock up on commodities that people would usually regularly buy on the AH. Obviously when there's no AH, they have to buy them from you, and you can bump the price up. Items like God Potions, which are already selling for around about 1.2 mil, which is ridiculously high. Also items like Dwarf Turtle Shellmits, even Cat Flowers, and also other commonly bought pieces of armor, weapons or pets that people would usually buy and still gonna want even when the AH is down. Once again, you can bump the price right up. The great thing is, for items like God Pots, probably one of the most commonly bought items on the auction house, if you have spare bits, then you don't even have to be prepared. Of course, Elizabeth's shop's still going to be open during Derpy, and you can simply buy your God Pots for bits, and obviously sell them to regular players through trade menus. I guess this is also a good way to maximise your bits. If you have a lot of bits sitting there, and you don't really know what to do with them, you can make a lot more coins than you usually would be able to. Before we go any further, you should subscribe to the channel and become 24%, there's no reason not to. Also, you should join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of every single video. If you need carries in Slayers or dungeons, then we've got you covered. Now on to making the most out of that 50% extra skill XP. Now it's no secret that Skyblock players use Derpy to grind, I guess, the most painful skills. At the end of the day, who wouldn't want to take advantage of something that you really don't like or find very boring going faster? For example, in terms of skills, Alchemy is pretty much a free skill to get to level 50, as long as you have the coins to pay for, well, the materials you need. And the best items that you can use in order to brew the most efficient potions to get you to Alchemy 50 would be number 1, Enchanted Sugarcane. Although, the NPC sell value of this Enchanted Sugarcane has been buffed quite substantially with Garden 1.5. So this is actually quite an expensive way of doing it now. An alternative could be something like an Enchanted Fermented Spider Eye, which is still relatively expensive. Nevertheless, whichever way you choose to do it, you are going to spend less coins because, well, you get 50% extra skill XP, which means you don't need to spend as much to get the same amount of XP. Another extremely painful skill to level is definitely foraging, considering, well, it takes a long time to get there and the grind is very boring. Of course, with 50% extra skill XP, this is going to go way quicker and make it a little bit more worth your time. In the past, I've completed a challenge where I foraged for 24 hours over the course of a week, but that wasn't in Derpy. This time I've given myself the challenge of 24 hours of foraging straight, no breaks, and that will be streamed on YouTube. I'll put an announcement out so everyone knows on my channel, and I'll also put an announcement out in Discord so everyone knows when it's going to be. I would appreciate it if you could help me through it. At the end of the day, foraging during Derpy isn't going to save you coins, but it is going to save you valuable time. As with Catacombs and combat, of course foraging isn't affected by the fact that mobs have extra health, so it is literally the same thing you are doing, but you're just rewarded much more generously. In terms of foraging, for myself and for everyone else, my only worry is that there's going to be a lot of people foraging, and probably a lot of people farming Dark Oak. Dark Oak really probably is the most efficient way to get foraging XP, on the Park Island of course. I know there is a way to rig up a foraging setup or like an infinite tree farm on your island. Probably will be way more efficient considering you don't have anyone running around with racing helmets, you know, stealing your trees. However, I digress. Another free skill that you could level up would be carpentry. When I say free, it's not actually free, but it just costs coins. There's not really anything that you have to put into it other than time. And of course it's going to be more efficient to do this during Derpy, because you still have to spend less coins on the materials. It's free Skyblock XP. Also, it'll bump your scavenge up, something I might actually consider doing, to be honest. For those of you who don't know, the way that you get carpentry XP is just simply by crafting things. For example, crafting enchanted diamonds into enchanted diamond blocks. And crafting those enchanted diamond blocks into perfect chest plates or other perfect pieces is going to give you quite a lot of carpentry XP. There are obviously way more methods to actually get more carpentry XP, and there's probably more efficient methods in terms of coins too. But if you do want to level up your carpentry, when Derpy is in power, it's definitely time. It was slightly delayed, but temporarily earned 10% more skill XP. So at the moment, before Jerry, because of the 10th anniversary of Hypixel, we get 10% extra skill XP. Now the issue is, I don't know when this 10% extra skill XP actually ends. I've looked high and low on Hypixel's website and on the forums, I just can't seem to find it anywhere. Which means, I don't know if that's going to coincide with Derpy, and if it does, that'll be 60% extra skill XP rather than 50, which is obviously better than usual. Now I can't say for certain, but if it is 60%, then I don't think this has ever happened before. Let's hope for the best. Now I do want to mention minions too. Minions are going to give us double output, and obviously you're still going to get the skill bonus when you actually collect the minions. Now, I've placed down these melon minions and they've been placed for quite a while. I've not collected them for around about 2 months. And of course, I'm not planning on collecting them until Derpy. Which means, in terms of making the most out of your minions, first of all, it would be ideal that you've not collected your minions for a while so they've built up so you can benefit more. If they've not, of course, during Derpy, they're going to produce double the output. So realistically, in an ideal world, you would collect all of your minions at the end of Derpy, because of course then you would have taken most advantage of the double minion output, and then also benefit from the extra skill XP. Of course, if you've recently collected your minions or haven't really prepared your setup for this, then I wouldn't say it's too late, because you can still benefit from the double output and the double skill XP when you collect them, but you really would have been better off thinking about it a while back. So to recap, ideally you want to level the most painfully boring skills, so you don't waste as much time. Potentially invest in commodity items to make some coins during Derpy. And to save coins, well, make sure you have all the items that you're going to need over the period of time, because you don't want to overpay for items that you could quite easily just pay a regular price for now or after Derpy. And that's how to make the most out of Derpy. I know majority of my time is probably going to be spent foraging, have fun. But it'd be interesting to know how you're going to spend your time over Derpy. Of course, other than watching the 24-hour foraging stream. Let me know in the comments, it will be pretty interesting to know. But anyway, that just wraps up today's video. It's finally that time again. Derpy's nearly here. Anyway, if you did enjoy today's video, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.